Yeah.
So I'm assuming this will probably hit after the one that we just did with Travis Lowe with Schiff talking about AI. And so funny enough, so Travis works for or with Grant.
Hmm.
And so back to your when I found out that Kane was so deep into AI, so Carly laughed. She said his team says he has a relationship with AI.
I think
Uh,
so. Yeah.
and so he literally talks to it on the way
I know.
to from work. And
Yes.
so that's the first time so in Mexico, the last day, we actually went out. I got a driver and we went out to the pyramids.
Hmm.
And on the way out there, Kane was so excited about it and started telling Grant about it. Grant didn't know any
Oh,
idea. And
interesting.
so literally Kane
That's the
turned
spark.
on,
I
yeah,
see.
Kane turned on
Huh.
and at that point I had interacted with it, but I hadn't had a conversation with it.
Yeah.
And so he turned on that feature and literally started asking AI about the pyramids and when they were
Hmm.
built and
Yeah.
what we were doing. And that's really what sparked a lot of the you know the future of AI dive that
That Grant,
Grant
the
has
rabbit
been
hole that
on
he's
and
down.
Travis, yeah,
Yeah.
along with some other stuff. But it's just and I think people are doing it at different levels. But I mean, I don't know how long Kane's commute is. Let's call it 30 minutes. I think it's longer than that, but let's call it 30 minutes each way. That's a lot of conversation with
I got a traffic ticket talking to ChatGPT. Yeah, I mean the problem is I know I have an older car. It's a nice car, but it's older, and so it does not have the, CarPlay. So and I had not got so I was holding my phone, which is a no-no. But I was just talking to ChatGPT, like giving it a to-do list or something very Enneagram 3, and I got it. They saw me and pulled me right over. Now I have one of the little holders and the. Yeah, I'm using it a lot with clients. One of the things I'm doing right now, which is kind of in the vein that Travis was talking about, is running running compliance reports on CRM use
oh
and
wow.
lead management. So if I have access to a client's CRM, then I have it programmed. It has instructions, which in Claude is called a skill. So it can log in based on a playbook that we've defined that says, you need to respond to leads by 10 a.m. If it's came in the night before, you need to respond within an hour. I mean, there's automations built into, but to the point about human contact, you need to make human contact. This is what your human contact needs to look like, and it'll rip out a report that says, well, these leads are a fail. So whoever's, head of sales ops can go in and do some coaching and, or retraining and make sure the team's doing what they're supposed to do. But, to Travis's point, like one day you can't do that. And then the next day, like it's so easy. And, the visibility point, like it's so helpful for owners to know, like, okay, there's a way without manually, looking at every lead every morning to know what the team's doing and how, if they're doing things to, following SOPs and whatnot. And the marketing dashboard, building marketing dashboards for clients, same kind of what Travis is doing. Like, it goes from like data all over the place and people not being able to calculate ROI from ad spend to like it's all in one place. I built a website for a client too.
That's funny. Funny
Or
you say
not.
that because
Very Enneagram 3 though. See, I'm like, oh, and I can do that and I can do that.
I just had a conversation about my website and what do I do and all that stuff. And
Geo, I'll build you your website. We'll talk about that later. There is no need for a custom website anymore. You do not need to pay for a website. I'll show you. When we're done, I'll show you the couple that I've built. I built one for our rec soccer program.
of course you did.
Of course I
Of
did.
course you did.
It
Because
is so sexy because the soccer people, they give you this all-in-one tool from the 90s. It is so bad. And people are consumers. They show up on this page and they're like, "What is this?" You know? So I was like, "We're running ads." And I was like, "We got to run it to a sexy landing page." And it looks so good. And I built it in like 15 minutes. I'll show
15
it to you when we're
minutes.
done. Yes, I'm not kidding.
That's
I
amazing.
won't I won't show you the client example online. I'll show you when we're done. You will be mind blown. It's crazy.
Yeah, back to your point about hyper efficiency, right? How are we using that to really drive efficiency and best use of time and
Yeah.
just quality, even quality, right? Is you're taking out the human error.
Yeah. I do think I do think one like downside is people like Travis. He's like, I'm so busy. And I was kind of like, well, is he spending time with his kids over the summer? I think people who are very into AI and I'm like borderline feel like it's moving so fast that you have to spend a lot of time to keep up.
Well,
So,
he even said that, right? He
yeah,
has his he after his workout, he sticks in his nicotine
yeah,
pouch and drinks his coffee, waiting for the AI news, is what he
yeah,
said.
totally. Yeah. But even all the, and yeah, anyway, that was a fun conversation. And things that come up at conferences is another plug to go. I can't wait for September. We have to start our official marketing for the GWA conference.
We do. Yeah, I mean, like I said on the last podcast we recorded, is I mean, we're gonna have at least three, if not six sessions on
Mhm.
AI, right?
Yep.
And there's different levels to it, right? I mean, and some are gonna overlap, but how are you handling staffing
Yep.
as you're interacting with? I mean, there's just it's I had a conversation yesterday with Brian Miller, who is Marcus's
Oh.
brother-in-law and COO at Therapy Space,
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking to hire a salesperson. And he was talking about, he's the problem is he only runs the ads for 24 to 48 hours because he's like, there's so many people that apply, most of which have no credibility. And so he's like, I don't know why Indeed just doesn't go through and like rule people out based off of certain parameters. And I'm sure there is a way to do that. He just
Uh,
figured it out. But I think
yep.
that's from a staffing standpoint, just, as you're
He could
looking.
do that with I mean, I use Claude. He could have Claude code. He could tell Claude code like, here are my criteria. Read these, right. Read everything that comes through Indeed and just set aside the top five or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm.
Yeah, so but again, there's a learning curve to all
Yep.
this, right? And back to your
There
point is how
is.
much time are you taking
Yeah.
to dedicate to some of these things, and is
Yeah.
it healthy, unhealthy, et cetera? What does that look like? Because you can take
Yep.
an addictive dive to anything,
I
and
think you need an hour a day spending on it. What I think it's important for to do cover it at the conferences is I think people are just kind of like desperate for use cases or not desperate for, but I think that's
oh
one of
yeah.
the most useful things we can do right now is show people like what are other people doing across domains to your point. So fun.
All right, so tell me what's school's out this week, next week? When's school out?
No, we're June 11th.
Oh wow.
We're later. It's not hot yet here, right? You Texans and people in Arizona, like it's all hot and everybody has to hide in their air conditioning. We keep
I
rolling. And then we're going to Spain. I know. I'm so excited. Dagny takes Spanish, so that'll be fun. We're going to do Barcelona, San Sebastian, and then a little town in France called Saint Barret's, I think.
And
Yeah,
how long y'all gone?
it's like a 10-day trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's perfect.
it will be good. Yeah.
So, will you be able to disconnect?
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier because I have been pretty busy. So I need to start sending out I'll be off the grid. I'm going to try to be. I'm trying to get better about being present. I'm not that great at it. But we can always teach ourselves new tricks.
Well, and I think that's part of it is even acknowledging that you're not good at it is the first point, right? And I'll tell you, part of learning is, and we tapped on in the last podcast, is I'm having to figure out that at 47, about to be 48, that I can't run at the pace that I've been running.
Bro,
And I don't mean physically, I just mean in
I
life.
know. Yeah.
And so I started doing, I don't know if you've gotten hit by these on social media yet, but Rhythm is a monthly blood.
Did you do it? It's like
Yeah, so I've been doing it
sampled.
for 3 months. So I've done blood samples for 3 months. And once you get it's almost like when you made me get this damn
Yeah.
ring, Jamie. And there I couldn't lie about, oh my gosh, my
Right.
sleep scores and everything else.
Yeah.
And that has told me so much.
Like what? Give
And
me an example without, sharing anything you don't want
um,
to share.
well, I mean, just I don't have a, me, I'll share anything, but just that 47, my testosterone levels, right? And I'm going,
Oh,
okay, well, why am I more tired now than I was before? And part of it, I didn't have data before, right? I
right.
never checked those, so I'm
Yeah.
like,
You don't have like a
is that
baseline.
different? And what do I do? And how do I make that shift? I mean, another one is the inflammation in my body.
Yeah.
based off of my lack of sleep and recovery,
Oh
right?
my God, right.
Um,
Travis is right. Yes. Okay, this is good for you.
yeah,
I
and
still feel
so
like is it okay, is it sinking in? Like are you buying it a little bit?
well, yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I've started taking supplements 3 months ago. So I've been
Okay.
taking those consistently, which before I would take and then be like, I don't need to take them
Right.
while I'm traveling. I'll do it when I get
Right,
back.
totally.
So
Yeah.
I'm totally packing it now.
Okay.
I've got friends that I've got a buddy that does like has a him and his wife do they're basically an online, health coach type deal that
Oh,
they
okay.
coach hundreds of people. And part of the conversation we've had, he's like, look, and you remember when I was on my crazy streak and still can be, right? It's like at 11 o'clock at night, I go to the gym when everyone
Yes.
else is going to sleep or I'm going on a
Right.
run. And he's like, we need to put your sleep ahead of
Yeah.
your working out, right? And so
Right.
I'm
Or
having
put
to
your
make
working out ahead of everything else so that you don't have to do it instead of sleep. Yeah.
right. And so it's kind of making those shifts and really
Yeah.
going, okay, the first most important thing is sleep, right?
Right.
So I'm forcing myself to either lay down earlier or
Yeah.
stay in bed later.
Do you have
Both
trouble going to sleep?
I do because the minute on my ADHD brain, the minute
Right.
I lay down, I think of everything that I was supposed to do and forgot to
Right.
do. Um,
Wait, it all
and
comes flooding back like it's
yeah,
there and it just
it's
okay,
crazy.
interesting.
Because back to your point
Oh,
is,
I got a device for
yeah,
you. I'm gonna get it for Dagny. Actually it one of my operator members said she's using it. I won't out her. It's you wear it and it listens to you. And so if you're if you're kind of like okay, you won't do
they
it.
listen anyways. I
Okay,
don't
but
care.
listen anyway. So, but it does like how you go through your day and you say all the
Yeah,
things and then you forget like what did I say or what did I do
yeah.
or what am I supposed to be doing that I forgot because I didn't write it down? It's all there and it gives you
What
like
is
a
it?
little I'll send it to you. Wait, what is your blood thing? I gotta write that down.
Rhythm. I'll send you
Rhythm.
the link. And
Okay, I'm
it's
gonna
like
do that too.
$99 a month.
That's
And
crazy. Do you
and
have to
so
go to like a lab core and get your blood drawn or what
no,
is it?
like literally, I get it at the door and I open it up first thing in the morning. I have to do it before I work out, before I eat
Okay.
anything.
Yeah.
And literally, it's the easiest thing. Is it comes with like a little heat pouch that you pop the little, the little
Yeah.
metal piece
Oh
and
yeah.
heats up, and you put it on your arm for 4 minutes, and
Yeah.
then there's it's a round. What's the best way? It's a button, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you pull the adhesive off, you stick it on your arm, and then you push a button, and you don't feel anything. You
Amazing.
put a little vial, right?
Yeah,
And
the heat really helps with that. I have to get blood
yeah,
drawn every so often, and they're always heating up my arm.
yeah.
Oh,
And so the vial fills up, you take it off, you put the cap on it, you swirl it around,
yeah.
flick it a couple times, and then you stick it in a little canister with your date on it, and then you put it in a FedEx bag and just drop it off at FedEx.
Mm.
Or if you can't make it to FedEx, they'll send an Uber driver to pick it up. And so but again, it's science. Like I'll tell you, I don't think you and I've had this conversation yet either. So like from month 1 to 2, everything got better. And then from 2 to 3, so the ones I just got back 2 days ago were bad.
Ooh.
But it's because I traveled a whole lot this past month.
Yeah. Travel's so hard.
And my dad was in the hospital six
Oh,
days.
you didn't tell me
And
that.
so, yeah, he basically one Monday he's like, "Oh, I've got fever and it's been painful to urinate," and went to the doctor. They gave him an antibiotic, and then the next day they called after they did his blood work. They got the results back, and they're like, "Y'all need to take him to the ER because there's some other stuff going on." So it
Mm.
turns out the bladder infection turned into kidney infection, turned into a prostate infection.
Oh,
So
wow.
I slept one night on the floor of the ER on a sleeping bag,
Aura
and then,
does not like that.
yeah, no, and then 4 nights on one of the foldable beds that opened up, and so I wasn't sleeping, and I wasn't getting a chance to get my workout in, and then, so it makes sense why everything
Yeah.
was lower, but that's part of it. Same as Aura, it gives you data
Yeah.
to go, okay, well, how do I need to? I can easily go, okay, well, when I travel, there's a shift, right? Because you not only you not, and I'm the weirdo that just like I know you're an early person, but I'm like, I'm waking up at 4:30 to catch a five to be at the airport by 5 to catch a 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So
Gio, I hate to say this, but we might be too old for that.
I know we're getting,
Okay.
I know that's part of what I'm
I'm
having to
totally with you with
recognize.
the like, I'm an Enneagram 3. I cannot handle like a
Yeah.
reduction in efficiency. Dagny has, she just finished, but on Tuesdays, she would have school all day, which would include PE, like an hour of like serious PE. And then she'd go to soccer practice from 5 to 6:30. And then she'd go to volleyball from 7 to 9:30. And then we'd go home. And I was thinking one day, because I have to drive her for all this. Sometimes, like if Tom's out of town, I have to do the whole shift. And I was like, I'm so exhausted from driving her around and like waiting for her. And I'm
Yeah.
always doing work or whatever. And then I was like, wait, I'm tired and she's actually like doing the things. I mean, you're just like, oh, and Kim Lee, I don't know if you follow Kim Lee on social. Her son did an Iron Man and then went to the prom. I mean, like,
How old is he? How
yeah,
old is he,
18.
right? I
He's
mean,
18. But that's my point is like,
back to your point, there's a 30-year difference,
yes.
30 plus years
But I
between them.
like to be in denial that those things are real. So your blood work is like, nope, those are real. Yeah.
No, and I'm having to shift and adapt to like the night before I'd been, I went out to dinner and went to a show and at 9:30 I looked down and the show is still going and I looked over and I'm like, we
I
gotta
gotta
go
go. Yeah.
because I hadn't packed. I had to be up at
Right.
4:30 in the
Right.
morning and at the air you leave here at and
Yeah.
so it doesn't work quite the same as it used to. And so you can
Mm,
learn new things, but you got to recognize that you need to learn new things. And I think that's
yeah.
the hardest part for us is
Yep.
sometimes realizing I am human, right? I'm not
Yep.
mortal or immortal.
Yeah.
And so it's that's been a shift. Then you and I know we've had the conversation about I have two homes now, 100 yards apart from
Oh,
each.
right. Yeah. I was gonna ask you what the
Oh
if
my
there was an
gosh. So
update on
that
that.
is, so yeah, I'm 40 grand into remodel over there. And so, you know, I kind of trust, I'm GCing it. So I trust those
Of
guys, but I
course you
don't
are.
trust
Of
them.
course you are, Gio.
And then my mom will go over there and be like, they're not doing this or doing that. My dad will go tell them what to do. And I'm like, guys, I pay you, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what
Don't.
I tell you. And I had to tell my mom, look, for the sake of our relationship, if you have anxiety about what's going on over there, then you deal with the anxiety about what's going on. I don't
Wait,
need you to call me and add your anxiety
totally.
about
Wait,
it.
how far away does mom live?
They're 2.5 minutes. They're two and a half
Oh,
minutes from me,
that's too close, Gio.
3/4 of a mile, and I'm moving 100 yards closer to them.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you'll get a kick out of this. The other day, they were doing a bunch of work in there and threw a bunch of stuff in the trash can. Right, the city comes and picks up the trash can every Thursday, and she had a problem with they threw away in the trash can.
Uh,
So
did she want to save it or
she
was
took
it
all the trash cans and drug them to so the
mom?
trash can and the recycled trash can, drug them 100 yards down the alley to put in the back of my current home so they didn't have access to them.
Oh my God. Mom. Wait, mom just had a birthday. You went to Mexico.
Well, no, we didn't.
Oh,
That because dad got
dad.
sick.
Oh,
So
bummer.
poor mom's birthday and Mother's Day were
Oh,
with my
bummer.
dad in the hospital. So
Wait,
we'll make up.
how
But
old's your
yeah, when my
mom?
dad went in Tuesday, my dad's 76, mom's 74.
Okay.
So Tuesday when we're sitting in the ER, I canceled the trip and I'm like, we're not doing this. I canceled American. I reached out to my Marriott and then the family and my dad's like, no, I still think I can make it. And I'm like,
I like
you're
that, dad. I like the attitude.
yeah.
Denial. I like the denial
Well, and
vibe.
that's how we got here, right? Is you
Yeah.
ignore you and you understand how I am who I am, right? You ignore the urinary tract infection that then turns into kidney infection and then goes straight into your freaking prostate. So
He's fine? He's gonna be okay?
yeah, he'll be, poor thing. So he has I call them jumper cables. So he's got a pick line. Basically, do you know what a pick line is?
No.
So basically, a PICC line, best way, it's like a catheter in your veins. And so basically, it goes to your heart, up your arm into your heart. But basically, he's got what I call jumper cables. So he's got two little tabs that hang out so that he's going every day to get IV antibiotic treatment for the
Okay.
next 4 to 6 weeks. And
Whoa.
so, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So apparently, it's really difficult for antibiotics to get to the
The
prostate.
prostate. Yeah.
So poor thing is having to deal with that, and they scared him senseless with the whole.
Sure.
Well, this gets really infected often, and because
Yeah.
at first they're like, well, y'all can just do it at home and just come into the doctor's office
Oh, I
once,
see.
and I'm like,
Okay.
we're in the middle of Dallas Fort Worth. He can make the 20-minute
He can
commute
just go. Right. He
to
has
the
time.
doctor's
Yeah,
office,
he
right?
could, right.
They look at it every day so they can see if there's
Yeah.
any infection issues or anything like
Yeah.
that. But he'll be just fine. It's just he's having to figure out
Mm,
how to maneuver those things. So
yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff going on over here on top of
Okay.
planning conferences and
Yeah.
trying to negotiate deals and trying to do websites and all kinds of stuff. But I've got a website guru that apparently is going to help me
Yeah,
with
I'm on it. In my spare, yes, also in my spare time.
in all your
I
spare
know.
time.
Exactly.
So what are you seeing out there business wise? I mean, what I know you've recently had a couple conversations with potential IWG people or people that are
Oh,
looking
those. Yes,
towards.
that's right. We had a common one. Yeah, I mean, that's still going strong. I know I've been really busy with a couple of clients. I have several family office clients, which is my new favorite niche. Did we talk about that?
No, I mean, I knew you did the one in California,
Yeah.
and did
Well,
they
the
end up,
Dallas client is family office, and who else is family office? Phoenix. The Phoenix
and they're
guys
all trying
are.
to figure out how to do their own. They're trying to figure out how
Well,
to
the Dallas
bring
group has
in.
their own. Wait, who's the other one? Now I'm blanking on this. Anyway, it'll come back to me.
Yeah,
Um,
and are they easy to work with? Is that what you like
yes,
them, or
right. And they have access to capital.
I think
That's important.
that's the hardest part. And,
Yep.
Colleen and I had that conversation yesterday too. She's like, well, it'd be awesome if we did a panel on like financing and how to grow. And I'm like, it's going to be a very quick conversation. We decided
Yeah,
it was a
exactly.
roundtable conversation
Yep.
because I'm like, your options are friends and family and private capital, right?
Yep.
Because you're not getting an SBA loan.
Yep. Yep.
Hopefully you've got a good relationship with your bank or,
Yep.
your family did or something like that. And I think that's the hard part is people don't recognize they think there's other options because they've heard it from someone else. And I'm going, everyone's situation is different, right?
Yeah.
Because even some of the operators that we know have funds are now having to figure out, well, their investors are looking for a return and they're like, well, what does this look like? And how do we grow, right? We can't go raise more money. We haven't done return on
Yep.
this tranche.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think there's people trying to just figure out, you know, how to navigate that world in different ways. And there's people that have a ton of experience and they're having problems getting deals done because of the way they're structured, right? And they're like, I don't want to sign another personal guarantee. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know what to tell you, right?
Right.
If that's all that city will bear, and that's what those operators wants, and that's what you have to do. The great Rob Archer is calling me
Oh, Rob. Well, he's doing an Ask
back.
Me Anything for you. That's coming
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I've had some fun conversations in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I talked to one this morning and he was like, I was like, well, when do you not get deals done? And he was like, well, we get the landlord just ends up just bailing on the build out, right? Like the TI is too much, or they want like a significant skin in the game. And I was like, yeah, who's putting skin in the game? Do you know anybody who's putting skin in the game? He's like, no, nobody's putting skin in the game. I mean, to your point, maybe there's a few here and there who can, but it's a
yeah, and I think part of it too is they're there, right? Like, I mean, there's one operator who I guess he's got what 17, 18 locations, and his goal is to put one location in each state for now, and then he's going to go back and fill
that's
in
a
the
terrible
states.
idea.
Well, it's working for him so far, right? It's
Okay.
different than other people's,
Huh.
but like
One
his
in
deal
every
is he's
state. Now
like,
I'm trying to think of who that is. Are you working with them?
I am now,
Ooh,
and he's like,
good.
I want to do 9 deals next year,
Okay.
and so
Gio's
he's
like,
got
great,
let's go. Why not
your
this
blood
year?
work is not gonna, you have to make a choice, Gio. 9 locations or the blood work.
Yeah, that's exactly. I literally have recognized that. Just had that conversation yesterday, and so but I think that's part of it too. Is people have different strategies, right? Is you think it's a horrible idea, but it's worked for him so far, and I know it hasn't worked for others, right? We're all talking about,
Yeah.
best way to, market share is
Yeah.
get drop 2, 3 pins in a market. But again, I mean, the whole point of that was he's got capital, right? And it's all through profitability,
Yeah.
right? And I
I
think
mean,
that's
if you
another
can
part.
cash flow into your next locations, that's pretty dreamy.
Yeah, and I think
Yep.
that's a portion of it too. Is I'm like, you have conversations with people that want to do a second location. I'm like, well, you profitable in your first one? Well, not yet, but I will be. And I'm like,
Hmm.
and so those are interesting conversations, just as people are looking at growth. And then, I mean, I think another really interesting conversation that we're having to tackle is product mix, right? How are people building product and what's moving and what's not? And
Yep.
you know, I think that's really interesting. And where, right? Is it in the suburbs? Is it in the urban suburbs, urban core? So many different ways to look at it. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of really interesting conversations out there right now. But I do think we're going to continue to see, people having epiphanies on what they're capable and not capable of doing.
In terms of expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
you just reminded me, and actually I owe this person a follow-up. So I need that device. I mean, I have lots of to-do lists, but I have a couple of clients who I've been just doing work on, like benchmarking and like, well, why aren't you profitable? And there are often epiphanies there because people operate in a vacuum and they don't know what they're doing makes sense to them, but they don't know, like, the model breaks when you do that. That's why you're having the problem you have. You like, your revenue's fine, but your expenses are way too high. For example. So, yep.
yeah, I mean, we just had the conversation on hospitality and concierge service and all that, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
awesome to I want to offer white glove service, but is
Mm-hmm.
it necessary? Is it driving,
Yep. The return,
your
the
rates
yeah,
up? I mean,
tricky. Yep.
and so I think, again, how does that look, right? And it's awesome to be like, okay, yeah, we built out meeting and event space. Okay, well, how often is it utilized? And are you
Yep.
making enough? I mean, a good one is the podcast room, right?
Oh, I was
I
just
just
gonna
I just
say, I
toured the
know.
new kiln today, and
I
he
have
was so
such
excited
a
about the
knee jerk on
podcast room.
those. They have a podcast room
Um,
in there.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and they got the mics and everything. He's like, but we don't have a camera, and you have to bring your own camera, and but people that are, it was funny because he was like, people that are sophisticated and experienced podcast operators or
Hmm.
hosts bring all that stuff, and I'm like, we use a laptop.
Well, if we were doing live sessions, we would, but also we would care about the background. Yeah, I have a total knee jerk. I see people put in podcast rooms because I think it's super trendy,
Yeah,
but then they don't build them well because if we were going to do a live session, we would want it to look nice. We would want a good
yeah,
background. And I see so many, they have like all the black foam stuff in the
that's
background. Like they,
that's exactly what they have.
okay, yeah. Hey, everybody listening, A, don't do a podcast room unless like people are beating down your door for it. And B, you have to have it needs to be video friendly.
Yeah,
Yep.
it
Yeah.
needs to be
And
aesthetically
no, I
pleasing.
don't. If I'm going to rent your space, I'm not bringing my own shit. You need to have it. We need to just walk in and sit down and do our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is why Zach has had so much success with the podcast house in Nashville is literally you show up and they
Wait, what do
literally
you
record
mean?
you.
He has a podcast place?
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. So he's had a podcast house for 4 years now. Where
No.
he's got 2 rooms that you show up and you record content and then they edit it for you and everything else.
Totally brilliant. That is the other piece of the puzzle for anyone listening is the wraparound services. Right. So Zach, I'm assuming if I come in, like he'll like do a little setup
Yeah.
and then he'll edit it and make it look fancy and he'll pull out clips and he'll do all I love
As you
that.
see, they had 3 rooms. They had 2 presentation rooms and they had a
Hmm.
podcast room. And Caleb recorded
Yeah.
those 2 days. And I was like, and then part of the Zach was going to edit it, but I had connected. If you remember, Caleb was in New York
Yep.
when we did that, and that's when he first met Zach. So Zach's actually already editing his last season, and now he's going to edit the juicy season for him as well. But again, that's the value of it, right? You're showing up. It's almost like me, right? I set up guests, I show up, we run our mouth, and then you
Yes.
do everything else as far as who you're taking.
Totally. Right. But so many people that I think that's the value. And especially, yes, we don't have to keep talking about podcasts. I agree. Yeah.
I think it applies for anything, right? Is
Yep.
it's easy to say, hey, we want to have a a meeting and conference business, but what does that look like, right? Do you have, are you catering stuff in? Do you have, I mean, this is something that, why did I just forget their name? The group out of Atlanta.
Rome.
Rome. That's something Rome does so well, right?
Yep.
They have an entire back kitchen area. It's not a full kitchen, but they've got all the plating and everything. So you can
Right.
order Jimmy John's in and then they replate it so it looks
Right. And they've
so
designed for
formal and
that, like
nice.
kind of to Travis's, like, how are you designing space? Like, that's a great example of to match your business model. Yeah. And your ideal customers. And that's really unique for them. Not very many people are taking on that business model. I love it. Yeah.
No, I mean, you can't be all things to all people, right? And
Yep.
so, what is it that your focus is, and why is it your focus, and how do you shift and adapt to be able to do that, right? And I think that's, I mean, you and I are both entrepreneurs, right? We run our own businesses and we help other people run theirs, but it's just like we've got to understand, and you and I've had a lot of these conversations, is what's driving business for us, and what do we enjoy working on. I mean, I love hearing that, you've you're making this niche in the family office side of stuff, and who would have guessed, right?
A niche
But
within a niche. Yeah.
yeah, there, back to your point, is, I mean, they've got the capital to spend, and you are dealing with decision makers with a
Yep.
track record of success,
Yep.
more than likely, or families with track records of success.
Yep.
And most of them have really good advisors and consultants around them that basically help them make some of these decisions. And you just get to be one more of those.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
all right. In addition to Spain, any other fun trips?
I mean, we'll go to Truckee, spend some time there. We'll go for July 4th. Yeah, just,
Go. When's your next trip home to see any
I
trips to
know.
New
I
York?
gotta do a pilgrimage at some point. I don't have it scheduled. I
All
know.
right. So, what's that pilgrimage? Where do you fly into?
Syracuse
And then how
or
far?
Newark and then drive.
Eesh.
Yeah, it's difficult, Geo.
Well, it's a pilgrimage, right? It's not 3/4 of a mile
I
of
know, totally. I mean, I don't really want that either. Something in the middle would be nice.
Can we have
Totally.
like a 2 hour flight and not a 4 hour flight followed by a multiple
I
hour
know.
drive? I guess it's
I
5 hours, huh?
Yeah.
What's the flight
Planes,
from?
trains, and automobiles. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, what else? What's your next fun trip?
it's a good question. Oh, we're in the middle of booking this. You'll love this. So World Cup starts, right? And I've
Right. Tell me about this.
and
Yeah, what are you
went to
doing?
Brazil. I went to Brazil, and it was awesome. We enjoyed that. But I mean, tickets are so, going back to our industry too.
Totally.
Dynamic pricing is
Yeah.
insane, right?
Well,
And so
they've
there's
had, I mean,
these.
I read a little bit, probably not as much. You might be more up to speed, but right, they're really struggling because they came out of the gates really high.
I
People
mean,
aren't
in
buying.
Dallas, you can't buy a ticket for less than $1,200,
Right.
and Jerry World seats 90,000 people.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me who you're getting to come pay that. And we're not
Yep.
even talking about the astronomical price that people are paying for their stays, the lodging and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's
Yep.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I've got my group of friends that we went to high school together and then all played after for several years. We've got a text chain called the Choir Boys. And so one of the guys jumped on the other day, and there was already four of them that got, because it was a lottery system. So they got tickets to go watch the U.S. play January. I think it's the 25th of June. They play they're in California, up in,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I guess, Burbank area, somewhere up there. I
Yep.
don't know what stadium is. And so then another one of the guys won the lottery, so they had four extra tickets. So now
Are
I
you going?
fly in the 23rd, and the game's the 25th, and fly out the 27th.
Nice.
Or really, I bought my flight in. My birthday's actually the 27th, and I'm like, maybe I just fly straight down to Cabo or do something fun like that. Or I'm already over there. I could even do Hawaii. I don't know. We'll see. But I've got to do something fun to get out of the Texas heat during the
Oh,
summer.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, But I mean, that's it. I don't have anything big planned. I mean, got to jump in and do the conference in September.
Yeah. I
We're
just had
deep.
my girl, speaking of tickets, I just had my girls' weekend to see Bruno Mars in Chicago.
How
Yeah.
was that?
It was good.
He's
Yeah.
such an incredible performer. I
He's
mean,
wild. I mean, him and the band, and he hasn't toured in so long, but they're great on
everything's
stage.
perfectly choreographed. I mean, it's. I mean, you want to talk about just the detail to or attention to detail, right? As a
Yep.
three, you understand that. Just I'm
Yeah.
like, and it blows my mind because I'm like, I do everything by the seat of my pants, right? And so just think about how they're turning the same direction and they're
Intentional,
swinging their
totally how
instrument.
intentional they are. It's like such a craft. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it goes back to people are paying for the experience, right? It
Yeah.
goes back to even our
Totally. They
industry.
have fireworks, and he has that like "Will you marry me" song, and they had like the confetti fall out of the sky. And yeah, it was great. It was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about people pay for the experience, right?
Yep.
And it's the same thing
Yeah.
as what do we why are people leaving their home?
Totally.
And
Okay,
I
and
mean,
even you know what I thought of when I was in, I don't know how this relates to workspace,
we'll
but
make it really.
I stayed at the A Loft, which is not, it's Bonvoy. It's not
Yeah.
great location, they always have a good gym, but they had a live DJ from 7 to 10 Saturday night, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's so interesting, right? Like, and then they have this big like common food area. It was packed the whole time. So yeah, it's like they're
Well, it all
thinking about
depends
like
where.
they don't have to, but they're doing this like whole
But that's
experience
what people
vibe.
want that experience for,
Yeah,
right? I'll give you a good example. The Moxie. I
yeah,
hate the Moxie, right? Because
I'm sure you
the
do.
a
Yeah, you
lot
don't.
of places, a lot of places, it's in the urban core, it's in a trendy area.
Yeah,
You've got music super loud, all kinds of stuff. But like when we were just there for Juicy, Zach brought in Jack, his business partner, and he's like, typically Zach just stays with me. He's like, well, Jack's coming. Do we get a room? And I'm like, I don't know who's sleeping in a bed together, but it's not going to be me. And so I start looking, and the Moxie had a double twin room.
wow,
They've
nice.
got two bunks in there. And
Oh,
so,
the bunks.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was perfect, right?
Yep.
And I'll tell you, it wasn't loud, wasn't a horrible experience. I
Nice.
think it just
Yeah.
depends where. And I've
Yeah.
been at an Aloft too, where I walk downstairs and they've got all kinds of craziness. But I think it's part of people know what they're getting, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't walk into the Moxie thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a laid back, chill
Yeah.
Westin
Yeah.
Ritz-Carlton Four Seasons experience, right? I walked
Yeah.
in, I was like, okay, I'm staying here because you literally have two bunk beds and no one else does,
Yeah.
and we're hardly ever going to be in the room, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we slept there and that was it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think that's part of the productization and part of what we're
Yep.
focused on as we talk to people is who are you servicing and why, right? Or who do you want to service as you're having conversations with these family offices?
Yep.
I think it's a big part of it.
Well, I'm gonna start recommending DJs on Fridays. Just saying. No.
Just saying. All right. Well, you got to send me this new
Oh, right
collar,
away.
this new
Yes.
collar I need to work on,
Okay.
and then we got to talk websites at some point.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, it was good catching up.
Likewise.